Okay, so we go to Brett turn 3. Take my Knights of the Realm. I just move him as far forward as I can. When he comes on, he's not going to be able to avoid a charge by me when he comes back on the board with his Knights. So I like that. My big fear is I need my General to hold in combat, because if he breaks this turn, then on my opponent's turn, his Archlector is going to get a flank charge on me. And that would just be the worst thing possible. So I'm taking a chance there. Take my Men-at-Arms who broke his swordsman. I charge his swordsman again, and they flee, but I wasn't able to catch them. My Knights of the Realm, it looks like I lost one from shooting at some point, and they're just moving around, dancing around. Now they're moving my left, threatening his War Machines and his level 2 Sorcerer on the hill. I charge my BSB into the flank of the detachments because it seemed like a good thing to do. I spent 15 or 20 minutes maneuvering my Knights of the Realm, Knights Errant at the top of the screen. It was very important to me that his flagellants didn't charge me, and trying to maneuver that. So it's like I walked him forward and I executed a turn, and then I moved just a little bit so that they can threaten everything on the hill and around it, and I was out of reach of the flagellants. It seemed at first that'd be easy to do. It wasn't. It was very difficult to maneuver them legally, and I hope I did everything legally. So at the end of combat, he's killed the Hippogriff, but my general sticks. We're still stuck in combat there at the Knights, and I'm happy with that. And BSB and Grey Reliqueue break his unit of Knights of the White Wolf and his detachment. So absolutely thrilled with that. I actually didn't do much damage to him, as you can see, but I just had enough combat res, and he rolled badly for his break tests. So yeah, that was fantastic. Loved how that developed. So he comes on his turn. He lines his Knights up. He knows he can't avoid the charge. But his magic and shooting is really hurting my unit of Knights of the Realm. I'm down. I have 2 damsels and 4 Knights. So yeah, I've lost, I think, a total of 4 over there. But having a hard time stopping his magic with his Cleansing Flare kind of spells. So still duking it out over here. Yeah, so he moves, his Knights rally, and so he does a reform with them to try to lend some support to the inevitable charges I'm going to get on his hill. And at the end of combat, we are still sticking it out with those Men-at-Arms. Those guys have done a great job. They haven't killed much, but they're just standing, they're sticking around. That's all I can ask for them. So Brett turn 4, I declare the charge. General's still fighting with his War Altar, but I'm just really getting in trouble. I do wounds on him, but he just heals it on his turn. You can see that unit of skirmishing bowmen. I started with 20. They're down to 10. That was 1 hit with the Hellstorm rocket battery and the large template. Yikes! But those guys passed their leadership test. So anyway, you can see what's going on at the battle over there. So I charge my peasants into the detachments. I mean, he just had a bunch of stuff going on up there. He fled. Charged my small unit of Knights of the Realm into the Hellstorm. Charged my BSB into his cannon. He's fleeing with all the crews. I charged my Knights Errant into his level 2 Sorcerer who had left that unit. He fled with all of them, and I basically ran everything when I charged with my Knights Errant. And I believe I declared all my charges first. He didn't have a whole lot of choices, because had he stayed, he just would have gotten beat in combat anyway. So my Grey Reliqueue charged into his flagellants, simply because I wasn't going to be able to avoid him, so I thought I'd go ahead and try to get the charge off on him. I really think that we're just going to be stuck in combat the rest of the game. Or he's going to beat me. Anyway, that's where we're looking there. It was important to me that my Knights Errant, if I charged anything, got out of reach of his Knights of the White Wolf there on the far left. So when I charged his Sorcerer fled. Had he got away from me, I would have had a failed charge and would have been charged in the rear with his Knights. That was my fear, but I was able to catch the Sorcerer and therefore move my full 16 inches. So that was kind of a big deal. That's just another look at the board. And you can see those 2 Knights Errant that fled a long time ago. They rallied and they've moved up here. And they're just in the middle of the board. Now they're threatening a flank charge into his knights on the far right that are tied up in combat with my men-at-arms. So on this side of the board, the good news is my Knights of the Realm beat his knights in combat and ran him down. So he just lost a big unit of inner circle knights with a warrior priest. Bad news, my general finally died. Or didn't die, I guess. He broke in combat and got chased down. I'm kind of happy that his war altar is way off on the right-hand side, so he's not in the middle of everything. But yeah, I guess my general, I guess it's good that he held a few turns. It's frustrating to me. I don't know how to handle that stupid war altar. Ugh. Okay, so his knights to the left of that impassable terrain finally beat my peasants. He restrained because had he chased him, he knew he was going to be flank charged. I take that back. Had he chased him, it would have been his turn next. But I guess he liked his what he could do better if he held back. So my Knights of the Realm and my BSB both charged as war machines. They both won, of course, and then they were able to overrun and get off the board. So that's good. I was really worried about being if I overran and was in the front of his knights on the far left, I'd been in trouble. So I kind of got lucky rolling high to get out of harm's way there. So his turn, he brings his war altar up, and I'm looking at that and thinking on my turn there's no way I can avoid a charge by his war altar. So that's not good. Turns his knights on the right-hand side. Flatulence and the Grail Reliquary are just kind of hanging out in battle. And so he's got both units of his knights around the hill, facing the hill, so it's going to be tough to get out of the charge reach. So on my turn, I couldn't avoid being charged by the war altar, so I took both damsels out of the unit, and then I brought my Knights of the Realm up. And my thinking was, when he charged me, I was going to flee, and so I need to be able to flee far enough to get away from him, but I don't want to flee off the board. So that was my thinking there. It's a long shot, but I couldn't get out of his charge reach, and I felt that was the best chance I had. What I forgot about was on his turn, he was going to be able to do the cleansing flare things, and so my damsels being all alone are going to be at risk for that. On the upper left, I took my Knights Errant and charged his cannon, which not only does it get rid of the cannon, but it gets me out of harm's way from his knights there around the hill. Take my men-at-arms and I just turn them. I don't really. I think I can take that charge, but if he charges me in the rear with his other unit, I think I'm going to be stuck. My guys come back from off the board, so I've got my BSB behind his unit, Knights of the White Wolf, and I've got my small unit of Knights of the Realm threatening a flank charge as well. So they came off the board. That's just another look at what's going on. These are my far left. They shot and killed that detachment that was threatening the rear of my Grail Reliquary, which didn't really matter. Those guys, of course, they're just fighting, killing each other. Empire turn 6, he charges my war altar into my Knights of the Realm. I flee. I wasn't able to get out of reach of him, so that was kind of a bummer. He charges both units of knights into my peasants. I decide to flee with them, and so I fled to my left into his other oncoming charge, so my men-at-arms are automatically destroyed. What I didn't want was for him to break me in combat and be able to turn everybody be able to overrun. I guess he could have overrun anyway. I don't think you can overrun through each other. So anyway, I think we played that right. I just fled. I was destroyed. His guys kind of hit head on, and that kept him from doing other nasty things to my guys up there. Charge my the Knights Errant into his detachment, hoping I'd beat him and get to the flank of the Flagellants, but we'll see how that plays out later. Brett turns 6. My damsels are still alive, but barely. This looks odd, but my BSB and all those knights are directly behind his Knights of the White Wolf. We couldn't place them there because the hill wouldn't allow it. So it looks like I'm jumbled up on that one side. We did maximize model. We just couldn't physically do it. So if you look at what happened there, tell you what, let's look here. I charge his detachment. Not only do I killed only one of them, but then he turns around and kills one of my knights errant. And so I wasn't able to get the overrun into his flagellant. So we're stuck in combat there. Grill Reliquew is down to only the Grill Reliquew itself. Still hanging out with the flagellants. My guys beat his in combat. I overrun him, and we would have been in combat with his other unit on the hill, but it didn't matter because we were at the bottom of the 6th and nothing else was going to fight. So end of the game ended up being pretty bloody. I have some archers to the left. I've got 2 damsels on the right off the picture. He's got his war altar off the picture. Still's level 2 sorcerer down to 1 wound. It ended up being, I thought it was going to be a draw. It was technically a minor victory for the Bretonnians, but only barely. But great, fun game, real bloodbath, a lot of maneuvering. Really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it too.